Many families are flocking to the beach, heading to the lake, or spending more time at the pool. However, dunking those toes in the water can bring great danger. Joining us live is Wyatt Werneth, who's a spokesperson for the American Lifeguard Association. Wyatt, I want to talk about the dangers of drowning, whether you're an adult or a child. And this might sound like a silly question to a lot of our viewers out there, but what are the signs? Do majority of people who drown, is it more of a silent thing rather than what we expect, like thrashing about?
Well, you're onto something there. It's not something like you see in the movies, people yelling and screaming. You have to be trained to identify it. In the lifeguard arena, we actually call it victim recognition. And there's a lot of different things that we look for, like climbing the ladder real slow, swimming the wrong way in a current, those anxious eyes. It's something that we have to look for on a daily basis, and that's what lifeguards do. We sit there and scan the water back and forth, and we see one of those, what we call victim recognitions. We'll go out and assist that person even before it gets to that critical point.
What can people look for in their kids at the beach and or the pool? They're maybe not as skilled as you guys are.
Well, looking for something and being vigilant is another thing. They just need to stay on top of it. They need to watch their kids. If kids look like they're, you hear about just get through eating and going into the water, that's a factor because they get a little more lethargic. If they're tired, if they've been really hot, there's a lot of different things that you have to be aware of as a parent, and just keep your eyes on your kid. And if something seems a little out of the ordinary, get them out of the water.
Mm-hmm. So how can we prevent drowning before even heading to the water?
Well, the number one answer to that is swim near a lifeguard. But of course, it's a lot of conditioning, and learning to swim is a major factor. If you're a good swimmer, even though you've learned in a pool, and you go out to the ocean, there's a lot of different elements there that you have to be aware of. So education is another factor. If you're going to the beach, look up some information online, talk to lifeguards and find out what rip currents are, what the hazards are, because there's other things out there that can cause problems that you may not know about, even though you're a strong swimmer. So there's a lot involved in going to the beach, or the open water, we call it. Even around lakes, we have the same kind of situations where people are good swimmers, but they're not familiar with the environment. So they need to get familiar.
Now, yesterday in Myrtle Beach, according to the police department, a 35-year-old man did not survive after a wave crashed over him in just knee-deep water. Now, some people might say, how could that even happen if you're in knee-deep water?
Well, we've seen that before here. I've run many calls that were, sad, fatal like that, where it sounds like, something that's, like you said, it's knee deep, it's not out in the water, it's not a rip current. In some cases that we've seen, the wave has come in and hit the person and knocked them unconscious on the bottom, so that person wouldn't be able to move. Other factors are intoxication, as well as obesity, and being a little disabled or elderly in some cases. We've seen people fall down and they can't get up. So again, it's something like that. When you see someone in that situation, you need to help them out. That's why it's important to swim near a lifeguard, or where there is a flotation device available, like we have here in Cocoa Beach. If something like that were to happen, someone would be there ready, available, and they'd have the flotation device to help them out.